Alright, so I bought a Bronco. Well, sort of. So this is actually a RC car, and it's a Traxxas brand TRX4. They call it a scale and trail crawler, so it's like a rock crawler. The model number is 82046-4, and the scale model is obviously a Ford Bronco, and they have it as a Bronco Ranger XLT. And I believe the color scheme is what they call sunset, and the Ranger XLT should have been the highest level trim package available, and this would have been for a 1979 Ford Bronco. So we just got this. My son actually met one of his reading goals here, which was a huge accomplishment, and the goal was we were going to get this Traxxas car, this Bronco, and he actually smashed the goal, which is awesome. So we went and purchased it. So we really don't know much about RC cars or even these crawlers. I do know that for Ford Broncos, though, the 79s had the square or rectangular headlights, where the 78s had round, and I believe the late model 78 Fords would have had square as well. So depending, in 78 there was a switchover, but all the 79s would have had the rectangle. This one obviously is set up pretty high, so this looks like it would have been a lifted, obviously not a factory style. And it's got some really big tires on. So it's pretty accurate. They got every little doodad and detail down on the body here, the way it looks. I do know that you can actually get the, there's like a LED kit to put in the tail lights, the side markers, the headlights. I don't know if you can see it here, but the mirrors actually broke off. It's very tippy. It's not designed for speed. It's actually designed for crawling, and we've had it out in the snow here, so it's wet. It does a nice job crawling up the snow and that type of thing, but if you're going fast with it and you try to turn, this thing will flip over like nothing. It's just set too high, and it's got a lot of speed. It's remarkably fast. So if you're into RC cars, that type of thing, you'll know that there's a ton of like scale model accessories that go with this thing, and then you can modify the chassis, which we'll take the body off here in a second, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But for this one, well, obviously we're looking at some mirrors because we broke those off, and that was going to be not so much a modification but a replacement already. But they do make the round spare tire holder that says Ford Bronco on the back. We decided that's going to be one of his next reading goals, just because that looks really cool. It also has a trailer hitch, so we're looking for probably a receiver of some sort to put in there. And we'll come back around to the front side. Alright, so on the front they also make a chrome, what they call a brush guard. Those are pretty common. A lot of guys would have those on their trucks back in the day as well. So we're looking at that. They're all cheap little doodads. They also, like I said, scale accessories. You can get like the whatever rock crawlers would use, so shovels, there's winches, there's those like spade things you stick underneath the tires for traction. There's trailers you can buy. Anything you'd use for actual rock crawling, they make it. And it's the same thing with RC's, the little gas cans, spare tires, all that stuff. So if you really want to get into it deep, there's a lot of stuff. It's just like any type of other model, I guess. So if you look at the inside of the body, you can see there's all sorts of fasteners. So if you want to replace the grill, I think they make a chrome one. Like I said, the lights, you can actually wire it up with lights. I believe the wipers are replaceable, and the mirrors are held in with just these little clips here, so they're easy to replace. And I believe somebody had said that the tire holder, there's actually holes drilled underneath the sticker already, so it looks like there's a hole here for sure. So I don't know, we'll see. It's a model, it'll be some fun. But so there's the chassis. So this chassis is used on all sorts of bodies. Like the body here, this is just the Ford Bronco body. I believe you can get other bodies that go with this, which would be kind of cool as well. Alright, so this is the top side of the chassis here, and this is a four-wheel drive because it's a rock crawler. And when it's set to two-wheel drive, you actually will have one wheel in the back and one wheel in the front pulling, And then you can lock it so that you have four-wheel drive, so both wheels in the front with still one wheel in the back. And then you can flip it so that you have both wheels locked in the back, both wheels locked in the front, which is like a true all four wheels pulling equal amount. That makes a huge difference. We were taking it on the snow and that thing was just spinning around. You could do 360s because it really pulls when you have everything locked in. So it's also billed as a waterproof car. They say you shouldn't, like, obviously put it in a lake or something like that, but I've seen guys drive them through like bodies of water on YouTube, and everything is like sealed up. Like there's a gasket that goes around this, and everything's got like watertight connectors on. So it's a not built as water resistant, it's built as waterproof. So I did a little research before we bought this, so I knew that like the battery didn't come with the unit. We bought a Traxxas brand LiPo 3-cell 4000 milliamp. I'm not really sure what that means. It's 11.1 volts. It lasts a pretty good chunk of time. I mean, when we're running the car outside right now, it's full bore, wide open. So obviously if you're rock crawling, you wouldn't be doing that. The guy at the hobby store did say that these batteries are prone to start fires if you're not careful with them. So that's why we went with the Traxxas brand battery and charger. It was like a kit. That was $89. The car was $4 something. It was right around, I want to say $550 for the whole works. So if you are looking at a car, just know you're going to need to buy the battery and the charger to go along with that. The battery just sits up in here like this. So, and this isn't the biggest battery you can buy. They make bigger batteries in different types. This is the LiPo type, which I'm not sure what that means, but it sits on top there, and then there's just like kind of a clamp that holds it in. So, and we'll let's flip it around and take a look at the other side. So on this side of the car, this is going to be like your on switch here, this little blue button, and it will actually illuminate a little light. There's a light on the other side as well, and you'll see this little device here with this linkage. Let's zoom in on that. I believe that's going to be where you get your high and low transmission. So it's, like I said, it's not just a speed thing. It actually applies more torque when it's on the slower setting. Also, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it does say waterproof on that as well. These little fins here will get hot if you're running the car pretty hard. So the other thing, the guy at the hobby store said these are one of the most durable of all RC cars, just because they're designed to rock crawl. So that was another reason why we kind of went with it. We wanted something that was durable. There's really nothing on the chassis that's for show. So once we flip it over and look at the bottom, you'll see that there's linkages and stuff, and there's shocks. It has suspension, and all of these little linkages and stuff that's underneath, it's all actual parts of the chassis that have something to do with either the steering or the driving of the wheels or the suspension of the car. So it's not just for show. It has a purpose. Alright, so this part here I believe they call your speed sensor or your transmission. I forgot to mention that it actually has 5 different settings. So if you just turn it on, the first setting is going to be a sport mode, which allows full forward and full reverse power. And then if you set it for 2 blinks, which is race mode, it does away with reverse, so you have no way of backing the car up. And I guess that's if in case you're racing it or something, there's some tracks or rules with that. 3 blinks will slow the model down by 50% in both forward and reverse, which is good if you're a beginner, and would have been good for us to know if we would have read the book first, because it's a lot of power, and if you put it in that 50%, you won't flip the car over just from turning too short and going too fast. For 4 blinks, it's called trail mode. So you get added brake drag when the throttle trigger is in neutral. And then the 5th blink is 100% brake hold when you have the control in neutral. So if you're coming down a steep hill or descent, the brakes will lock up. It's actually not the brakes, it's the transmission that's holding it, but they call it the brakes. And that's good for if you're doing some really steep hill climbing and you're coming back down the hill and you don't want the car to slide, or you don't want to have to press reverse to hold it. It's the car itself actually does that. Alright, so here's the bottom of the chassis, And like I was saying, everything serves a purpose here. Nothing's for show. So you have your drive shafts here that come out of your the transmission area here. You have these linkages that tie the axle to the frame or middle of the car here. This is that cable. That's what engages your locking differential. So it's just open differentials unless you set it to locking. Up on the steering here by the wheel, some of these parts can be replaced if you want more weight. They make them out of brass, so it gets the weight lower on the vehicle, makes it less top heavy, more stable. But you can see that all these parts are replaceable, of course, and you can do body kits, lift kits, all sorts of stuff. You can do stuff with the gears. I think you can set it up so that the front pulls quicker, so you're like overdriving the front, so the front actually spins quicker than the back. Something to do with setting it up for better traction. For us, we're just kind of playing around with it, learning, so we're not going to go into any of the actual mechanical mods of it or anything like that yet. Alright, so that kind of gives you an idea of it if you're looking into it. I know there's videos on YouTube about it, but these guys go way into depth with modifications and that type of thing. So I'm going to throw the battery in here and we'll take it outside, because that's what everybody really wants to see, right? The actual driving of the thing and how it drives, how much fun it actually is. I'm not sure either how the cord is supposed to sit in here. They're supposed to wrap around the end. I know this top part comes down, kind of holds everything in, but the rest of it I'm not really sure. The body, once you put it on, as long as you don't hit anything, it stays pretty good, but if you hit it, it'll actually tweak a little bit. It'll slip out either in front of or behind the bumper. So it looks wonky, but it still works. Alright, so before we take it out here, I just want to show the controller. This does come with the car. So this toggle switch on top is going to be your four-wheel drive locking. So when it's back like this, that's going to be nothing locked, so just open differentials. When you click it into the middle position, that's going to be the front two wheels are locked, and when you move it to the forward position, all four wheels are locked. This is going to be for your steering. The trigger is going to be for your forward and back. The red button here is going to be for your high and low speed for your transmission. So this would be full speed. That's going to be low speed with more torque. I'm not sure, this one is a multi-function. I'm not 100% sure what that does. I think the steering trim is the one, so if you're going down straight without turning the wheels and it's tracking left or right, you can turn this and that'll like set the alignment. And then there's also a menu and a set button. We really haven't looked into that yet. And to turn it on, it's just on the bottom here, and it just uses 4 AA batteries. Alright, so we're bringing it out. Right now we have it in the low speed. No problem there. Alright, so we got it now. That was low speed coming out. Now we have it set to full speed. You can see how it's pretty top heavy when you go fast with it. That's going to be open differentials there. Alright, now we got the front wheels locked, the back is still open. Alright, now we're locked in all 4 wheels. A lot of power there now. A lot of traction. So when you got the differentials locked, that's what it will do. So it's definitely a lot of fun to play with. It should be for the amount of money you have to spend on it, but oh, he got her buried. He's definitely stuck now. He's got her buried up to the axle. Alright, so I'm letting him play with it a little bit. He's taking turns with his sister, driving that thing around in the snow. They have a lot of fun with that. So, this is the box. I'll just kind of show you. It says right on the front of the box, battery and charger not included. There is some specs on the back too. Like I said, if you're really into rock crawling or RC cars, this probably means a lot to you, but for me, we just kind of liked it because it looked like a Ford Bronco, and that looked cool. So some of the stuff it shows here, you got waterproof, inner fenders, it's got cruise control. That might be what that one setting is on the controller there. Rigid steel frame. Is without portal axles. I'm not sure what that means. Canyon tires, torque twist eliminated, metal gear digital servo, it must be for your steering, high-low range transmission, T-lock remote locking differentials. So that's kind of neat that you don't have to physically like take the body off the car. Like I said, it's got those cables to lock in the differential. And then on the bottom it's got heavy-duty extra wide rod ends. The vehicle's obviously scale detailed really nicely. You got 3S power system, aluminum shocks, and then it's got a 63 degree, I guess what you call approach angle if you're into rock crawling. And then there's just some more information here on the TRX 4 scale. Like I said, it comes in different body trims and that type of thing. It's got the dimensions here of how wide it is and what the actual length of the vehicle is as well. So one thing to note, this is what they call a skill level 1. So no previous experience with radio controlled models, which we don't. The last, I don't even know if it was radio controlled. I had one of those cars you would chase and the remote was connected to a cord. And maybe I had a radio control, but nothing to this scale, just like a box store type deal. So this is definitely, like I said, this is a hobby grade, so it's definitely really nice. I like it. It's a little pricey, but it looks like it's a lot of fun, and the parts are replaceable. And here again, there's a little bit more information on the type of motor, the channel, and the frequency that the remote uses. Alright, so we're going to wrap it up for now, and I'll keep you updated if we do anything cool to this thing.